Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am absolutely delighted to be joined this evening by a guy who's not just a two-time Muay Thai champion, not just a fantastic fighter with skills in boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, and kickboxing, but a guy who's become one of the more prolific coaches, especially at FightersRep, none other than Cody, the Squirrel Sessions. Cody, how are you doing, man?
Dude, thank you, man. I appreciate that intro. I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here. Really excited to be chatting with you, and the rest of the Knucklehead Nation. Everybody watching us live. Dude, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to do what I love. I'm blessed to have the team that I have. To work with such amazing organizations and promoters like yourself. Especially in this area. Like, dude, this is like the epicenter of combat sports, and you are doing a great thing with kickboxing because it's funny how Fighters Rep has been on the scene, and I haven't heard damn thing about Glory in a couple years.
Yeah,
Really said,
yeah,
I'm talking pre-COVID. Like, dude, I haven't heard a damn thing about Glory ever. Last few years. So it's been all Fighters Rep, and yeah, my team's killing it. We love Fighters Rep, and it's been a great place to build and create just the future generation of combat sports and athletes.
that means a ton to me, Cody, and I agree, man. It's kind of like I guess they were having some issues, right? They went into receivership, which I think is sort of the equivalent or something similar to bankruptcy. And my understanding is some outfit in the UK bought them out. I mean, I could be wrong, but this is my
Oh,
understanding. Yeah, and I think that's why they stopped doing shows in the United States. So I think some outfit in the UK bought them out, and now
okay.
they've continued to do shows in Europe, but they're not really coming here anymore, as far as I know. So I just feel like, it is kind of open season for Fighters Rep now, right? I mean, somebody's got to do something in kickboxing, especially with some of those fighters. And I think you remember Justin Moss was on a couple of our cards. He used to
Yep.
fight with them
Yep.
a while
He is
back.
a solid kickboxer. Very solid.
Yeah, yeah. So I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you being a part of this, man. Listen, you're a fighter. You're still young, right? You're still
Mhm.
young. I mean, you haven't even reached your prime yet as a fighter. But as a coach, my goodness, I mean, you're kind of, you're taking this parallel double trajectory here, fighter and coach, and you're seeing so much success
Yes,
on
sir.
the coaching side, man. I really got to give you your props, man. I mean, it's just
Thank you.
outrageous. It's outrageous the success you've had as a coach. Kind of, talk me through it. What kind of got you into the coaching?
Um, well, big thing is, I understood that in this sport, regardless if you're good or you're great, even a lot of people that are great still don't make a living off the fighting. So from the jump, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted combat sports to be my career of to some degree, to some fashion. But I also understood that if I'm not in the upper echelon of the 1% of combat sport athletes, that I'm not going to be making a living, or at least a nice living, off of fighting. But I knew that the other route to that would be coaching. I'm extroverted. I like to talk. I'll talk your damn ear off and everybody else. I'm very personable. I'm very opinionated, and I'm very disagreeable. But I'm also very open-minded and open to logic.
Yeah,
So I think those building blocks, alongside building an amateur career and being around in the game and cross training and picking the brains of a bunch of amazing coaches, as well as having amazing coaches that brought me into the game, um, gave me a good starting point to share my knowledge or what not to do, from messing up professionally all the time, being a professional screw up in the gym. Um, and I'm young. I'm very young, but with that, I understand and have seen the game evolve in front of my eyes over the last few years, which a lot of other people haven't. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, we saw this era and it was like this for 10 to 15 years." Well, dude, I've been seeing this sport change in my face, being a part of it as a coach and a fighter so quick that I understand the importance, and I can see the marketability and the potential and the growth, and the changes and adaptations that people and coaches and promoters, so on and so forth, are making. So it's easy for me to understand that I need to be open-minded if I want to grow as a coach and as a fighter, but also not stay stagnant by myself or having my team do so. That's why we're so active. That's why we do so many PKBs. That's why we're doing MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and boxing and jiu-jitsu tournaments. Also soon to be doing off-season wrestling tournaments, um, gi and no gi. It doesn't stop. Like combat sports as a whole is ever growing, and it's the fastest growing sports in the world. So staying keen on the new meta of all and every combat sport available is kind of my go-to right now. I just know what's out there, make sure that I'm ingesting what the new funk is, and seeing if it's formidable for longevity in the sport. And if it's not, if the math isn't mathing, I try to create a solution to find something that works best for my team and myself.
You mentioned, now you've piqued my curiosity a little bit. You mentioned, being a pro in the gym, screwing up, maybe learning from your screw ups. I mean, kind of take me through that, because I kind of want to understand more what you're talking about.
Okay, so for instance, I'm one of these smaller coaches. I'm a smaller professional athlete. With that comes its advantages and disadvantages, right? So, for instance, as a coach, when I go over the intricacies and the nuances of a breakdown or a technique, right? The the hardship and the trials and tribulations I've had to acquire that technique and hone it is a little different than a heavyweight Muay Thai
Right.
kickboxer boxer, because
Right.
they can get away with a lot more um lack,
Carelessness, maybe?
yeah, what you say, or lacking of technique, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the size and the power and the durability and things that come with that size. Me, on the other hand, if I'm sparring with somebody that's worth their salt, that's a 155 pounder, let's say, right? Walking around 160, 170, 175, 180 pounds. For me to even go 30, 40, 50% with them and hold my own, I need to be competent. I need to be capable, as opposed to just being durable. Like, it's not a pissing contest, right? That's not how I coach, at least, right? I need to use my head, so I need to play chess, not checkers. So I think it's helped my career as a coach, and my words hold a little bit more weight, and they hold more validity, because if what I'm doing is working on somebody that's 160 and 70 pounds, and I can express why I do it the way that I do through years and years of getting my ass whooped by that 160 170 pound dude, and I can finally land this and not get my ass whooped, it's a lot easier than going, oh, just because you're a heavyweight that can kick the dog shit out of somebody with mediocre at best technique. I'm not saying heavyweights have that. I'm saying just
Yeah.
randomly, right? Generally speaking, and get away with it because it hurts because of size. Where I need to be on my P's and on my Q's so that it doesn't go, go through one ear and out the other of who I'm demonstrating on, because you can see and understand the connections that I'm making logically and from a technical standpoint, because they're cohesive and they make sense. And that's what I mean. So getting my ass whipped throughout years of training, being the smaller guy, um, being put in situations and circumstances with from other coaches or whatnot, where I learned the hard way to never put my guys into, or maybe I've still agreed for myself, and
Yeah.
that's the little chip on my shoulder, right? But to understand to not to do it to those that I love, because I want more for my brothers than I want for myself. And that's my whole goal as a coach, is not to get somebody as good as me or hit an accolade that I've achieved, but to literally create people and guys that are better than me. That's the goal. I want for my team better than what I've achieved for myself tenfold. I don't want my guys to plateau and go, oh, I'm a two-time pro champ. Oh, that's cool, dude. That's awesome. But if you have the if you have it in you to be a seven-time, let's hit that bad boy. Just
Yeah.
because I had two doesn't mean that's where their cap is. So my focus is making sure that people can understand my my method to my madness, right? When I'm breaking something down or going over something that might be to develop their IQ, but that it's also coming from somebody that's tried and true, and I've actually walked the walk, not just blowing smoke out my butt. And I think my team has seen that. They can recognize that. And when I do have the opportunities that make sense financially, through proximity, location, timing, or whatnot to compete, that I do take advantage of them. And I compete at a high level, and that's with jiu-jitsu, that's with Muay Thai, that's with boxing, whatnot. Um, to the point where my guys have a common courtesy and respect towards me, and I absolutely give it back. And we have a trust, and we build dynamics in the gym to where, yeah, I'm your homie, your counselor, I'm your buddy, I'm also your coach. And so when it's time to be coach, I don't have the issue with any of my guys to where it's like, but I don't really trust his judgment, or I don't know if he's really done this for himself. It's never been an issue. So I get to be myself. I get to be that young, extroverted guy at the events or whatnot, but I also get my points taken to heart when need be because they trust my judgment, and I've worked very hard to make sure that loyalty and that trust is earned, not just given. And so when it's earned, which I feel that I've earned that with my guys, it's very hard to take that away. You know what I mean? Like CJ. CJ's 16-4. He didn't know what the hell Muay Thai was when he stepped into the gym with me. A lot of people think, he's trained. Where else is he trained? Nowhere. That man, when he stepped in the gym, respectfully to CJ, I was able to throw him around the ring a little bit, put these paws on him. Now, I ain't touching CJ. Me and him spar, and I'm grateful that through the sparring culture, he's able to respect weight classes and not treat me like a 45er and put my lights out. And he's able to play chess with me and vice versa. But now that man can truly put my lights out any given day. And that's what I like. That's a kudos to him and all of his hard work. But it's also kudos to me because he's trusted my judgment, and I've led him down a path to where he's been more than successful. I mean, that's literally taken us across the globe for his amateur career, and he's going pro now too. So,
wow.
And that's just one person. You know, many others, including Jason Granado. When Jason first came in the gym, I was able to put a bunch of legs on him, a bunch of knees on him, a bunch of clinch on him, and now that man can out clinch me and sweep me on my ass, kick me on my leg, and sweep me off my feet with kicks, whatnot. And I love it. I don't want somebody to plateau and me be able to whip their ass all day throughout their career. Nah. The whole point is to get you to a level of competence to where you are tapping into your own potential and fulfilling your own style and your own suave. You're displaying your own artistry in the ring or the cage, and to be able to whoop my ass and do better and bigger and better things than I have done and will do. That's really the goal.
It's kind of fatherly, right? It's kind of fatherly because and I don't know if you have kids. I don't think you have kids.
I do.
Yet.
Yeah,
you do? Okay. So it's kind of the way I feel about my kid. Like I'm gonna put him through everything just because I want him to be better than me, and I appreciate you take that kind of same mentality with your fighters. I think that's very altruistic. That's selfless. I love that. You were talking about Jason Gator Granado, and he's here dropping comments. By the way, if anyone wants to leave any comments or questions for the Squirrel, be sure to drop it in the live chat. We'll read it to him. And, of course, if you drop any super chats, we'll split the profit halfway with him. He says, 2 goats on my screen, and Elijah James is in here. He's dropping some squirrels.
Hell yeah.
In the live chat. Now, Cody, what I wanted to say, right, was before you said all that, I just improv these interviews, right? I'm just having a conversation,
Right.
And I think that's the way to do it. You know what I mean? My question to you, before I asked the last question, I wasn't sure whether to ask the last question or this next one, which is more of a comment, which is, I really find you to be very hyper analytical.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a huge part of the reason you've been so successful.
Yes.
In the sport is because, you have this brain, because I feel like I'm not saying I'm smart, right? But I'm saying my brain doesn't stop either. I'm in the middle of the night sitting there, tossing and turning, thinking about, how can I make the show better? How can I get this guy a sponsor? How can I do this? How can I do that? And I feel like you're probably the same way, or maybe even more, and I think that's kind of helped you a lot in the sport. Kind of, is that how you feel about it?
Absolutely. And I would love to make a comment on that. Somebody made a comment to me early in my career that really kind of set me off, if I'm being honest. I was a bit pissed because I felt it was to my face and other strikers. They say that grappling is more detail oriented and more technical than striking, and that really pissed me the fuck off because it is if you want to stop growing and you don't want to focus on the details and you want to make everything general and you want to think and create people all the damn same. Um, I take great appreciation and I'm very passionate about my IQ and the hard work and the time that I put in to acquire it and that I still am. Um, so I'll be damned if anybody says that grappling is more this or that. You got me 50 shades of fucked up. I grapple too, and I'll tell you what, it's not unless you want it to be. Um, and you can ask my guys in the chat or in the gym. I go over those details. Yeah, I'll talk your ear off. Yeah, I'll break it down to where my toes pointing, how much weight's being pushed on one foot as opposed to the other leg, or why this hand's an inch lower than this hand, or why I would really hope that somebody goes down this path of technique for this combination or for this body type or this type of fighter. And there's always a method to the madness. And I think that's where people get lost in translation when it comes to striking because they plateau. Everything is about them, and you ask them why, and they go, well, because, or because that's what I like. And if you can't break down why you are doing something from a logical place, right, with a strong foundation of reasoning behind it, then all you're doing is something that's very subjective, right? And I think as a coach, your job is to be a suggester. That's it. All I do is give you very strong suggestions that I implore you to try because they've worked for me, and they've worked for me because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah.
Too many people give off all these suggestions and they go, well, I like it, but they don't give A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you're just going, hey, this could work. I like it, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
No, you got me fucked up. I don't have the audacity to teach a class of 20, 30, 40 people with 15, 18 competitors, multiple time champions, UFC fighters, whatnot, pros, semi-pros, Amis, whatever, some of the best guys in the nation. I don't have the audacity to go, yeah, well, I think it'll work. Like,
Yeah.
nah, man, I need to give you the route that is most auspicious for your goals, aspirations, and for your health. So I'll be damned if I'm going to try to make a shortcut or just go, I think because, I've done it once. No, all the time. I'll be sparring my guys, whatnot, and they'll be lighting my ass up. They'll be lighting my ass up just like I'm lighting theirs up. And then all of a sudden I'll do move of the day. And I'll go, hey, do you know what that was while we're sparring? No, coach, what was it? Move of the day. Oh, shit. Sometimes they'll see me doing bag work and I'll go over something and they'll go, oh, I saw you doing on the bag. I'm like, yeah. Because if it ain't working on the bag, you think I'm going to show it to you? Like, no. And I see too many fluffy ass coaches that first haven't fought. You're a trainer, not a damn coach. If you have not went into war yourself, I'm sorry, that shit really irks me.
I agree with that.
It doesn't mean you had to do a certain amount of fights or have a certain level of success. But if you're leading somebody into war, you should at least understand and have been through the emotions and the hardship so that you can speak from a place of competence and experience, as opposed to guiding these young adults, young athletes on a career that you don't know diddly shit about. So I take pride in that. I take pride that I've paid my dues and I'm still paying them. And that's why I tell everybody, and I'll tell you and everybody on the chat, I am a coach that fights, not a fighter that coaches. This is my passion. This is what I love. This is where I've found my calling. But I'm not in my 30s. I'm young, I'm competent, I'm capable, and I'm able-bodied. So that's why you see me competing in ADCC. That's why you see me doing super fights with other jiu-jitsu champs or whatnot, or going to the Olympic qualifiers or whatnot, your world game qualifiers, whatnot. You see me doing these things because while I'm still able and capable, I'm going to lead from the front. So when people say, coach, why should I trust your judgment on doing the push kick here? And I go, hey, well, look, number 3 in the nation, right? I did it to him. That's why. As opposed to going, I think or I feel. This is a game that you don't play. You play football, you play baseball, you don't play Muay Thai, you don't play kickboxing, you don't play boxing, right? It's not a fucking game. So
Right.
all these coaches that want to just try shit randomly without trying it for themselves or having done it for themselves, you're playing with somebody's head, you're playing with somebody's brain, you're playing with somebody's career, and you're playing with somebody's son or daughter. So I recommend that instead of playing, you get really good at playing chess and treating it like a strategy for war, because that's what this game is. It's war on a smaller scale.
I love I love that you say that, and I'm going to make a comment about that, and we're going to expand on that a bit. But shout out to Isaac Lawrence in the chat, says it's crazy how much knowledge Coach Cody has. Such a young age, dude isn't even in his 30s yet. We've got Michael Claycomb, so one of the best guys to have in your corner. Much love, and free smoke is looking like he wants some problems. He says, get your boy Nate ready. Let's make this shit happen. Can't speak for him and not have him fight me. The fans want it. Let's go. We will see Isaac. Nate, in my eyes, and I think in the eyes of everybody in the community, has absolutely earned a title fight in this next fight. So I am doing my damnedest to make sure that happens.
I will say this. I did speak for Nate in the back because our boy Isaac was speaking on us before we ever met. He did, so I was keeping that same energy, but I also hadn't known that he was coming off 2 back-to-back losses. I knew that he had fought De La Paz. I didn't know that he fought somebody else as well and lost that as well. And I don't mean like getting his ass whooped. I'm saying just took a L. Yeah. Nathan has only had 1 loss, and that was very debatable, and he's on a 9-fight win streak. Second to that, we have about 2 more fights, and he's going pro. So if that happens, we're fucking game. We're down for it. But there's no reason to backtrack for Nate, because I thought he was on a loss of a decision with Isaac, and that was it. But apparently he had lost another fight that I hadn't known or tuned in for, which is my own fuck up. And so I spoke prematurely. Nate didn't. I did. I had assumed that he was on like a 1-1 or whatnot. And he was able to be fighting for a belt, but it wouldn't make sense for somebody to be fighting for a belt when they're coming off of 2 losses. And my guy's coming off of being 8-1 the last year, and that 1 was very debatable. Very debatable. Yeah. And then aside from that, the champ has also kind of been meandering around that fight, or coach, I don't know, but either way. And second to that, we're also fighting in multiple other sports and have he's literally fighting for a belt this weekend for another MMA title. And he's a multiple-time Muay Thai champion. So hell yeah, if that makes sense, and down the future, absolutely. I did speak prematurely, but I do respect him and his camp, especially last minute, fucking taking that fight with Jason when nobody wanted that damn fight. So kudos to you guys. I know you guys are game. I know you guys are about it. I know you're not tooting my chain or tooting my horn or tooting your horn just to sound cool. I know you're about it. So understand that I recognize that. I see that. And if time allows it and permits for it and it makes sense, once again, if the math is mathing, cool. For right now, the math isn't mathing. You're coming off 2 losses. And I don't mean that disrespectful. I'm just calling a spade a spade. From that, we're coming from going 8-1 or 7-1 this last calendar year and have 2 other title fights on the line, as well as at different weight classes. He's fighting at 125 on Saturday, and he's fighting for a 125-pound belt. You also said that you wouldn't mind fighting Jason at 35, but didn't fill in for that fight. You let your homie do it. And then you fought De La Paz at 35 or 37, but then you wanted to fight Nate at 32. So we have to keep the logic consistent. And once again, math needs to always the math always needs to add up. If 1 + 1 = 2, I ain't jumping in on some shit that 1 + 1 somebody's trying to make it equal 3.
No. Well, back to what you were saying before that, Cody, because I don't want this to turn into the Isaac McGarry show. Isaac, we'll get you on soon, but you were mentioning,
respect him.
Yeah. You were mentioning, it really pissed you off when somebody said grappling is kind of more, I guess, technical, meticulous and difficult. Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned chess, right? You mentioned this being like chess. You got to play chess. And what you got me thinking about, and it's something I think about all the time, obviously as a kickboxing promoter, is, I agree with you. I don't think grappling is more difficult than striking. As a matter of fact, and I want your opinion on this. I think the risk reward, right, or rather the risk in the striking, I think is a lot higher. It's almost, for me, it's almost like striking, especially with our kickboxing rule set. Mm-hmm. it's like a super fast paced chess match
Yep.
where one mistake and it's over. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And I don't feel like it's really that way in grappling. I mean, at least not to the
Depending,
same extent.
I would say depending on the rule set for both, right? Time and place for everything. If you all my fighters, you guys know that's my mantra. Time and place for everything.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: when it comes to striking, right? For instance, in kickboxing, okay, everybody has a puncher's chance, okay, and it's kickboxing. So everybody also has a kicking chance and a kneeing chance as well, right?
They do. Yeah,
You don't have that in grappling. So let's get that shit out of there. If you're ignorant, completely oblivious, don't know what the hell you're doing, fighting somebody that's not that, I don't care if they have one mode to victory. If they're competent and capable in that one mode of victory, you don't know how to defend it, they're 50 shades of fucked, and you are at an advantage that is not 50-50. It's significant. It's 70-30, 80-20, whatnot. Second, size becomes a factor. If I'm ignorant and oblivious, right, and I'm a big dude fighting a small guy and we're grappling, that little guy has a lot more capability to catch me in a choke, break my arm or whatnot, because it's all technique to get out of it, or relatively speaking, more often than not. Or it will be over the course of a matter of time. Size is a big thing for striking. So that is one thing, that is one variable where I think it kind of segues more towards jiu-jitsu when it comes to technique. But the big thing is playing chess, right? So we're saying everybody has a puncher's chance. That's checkers, right? But, and this is another thing that's pissed me off, is there's a bunch of damn pros, right, that have been fighting professionally 10, 15 years, been training 12 plus years, right, and look like dog shit when they fight. Pisses me off because they're playing checkers, right? Yeah. All my guys that you've seen, exactly, I'm very detail oriented. If you bust your ass and sweat, bleed, cry, whatever, working on honing a craft, don't go in there and look like a fucking street fighter. And that's not how you look in the gym. That's not how you look on pads. That's not what you aim to be or focus on when you're training and busting your ass and sweating all damn day and taking off time of work and going to the gym for, right? Yeah. Look good. Yeah. If you practice a bullshit ass kick 1,000 times, you're gonna have a bullshit ass kick. But I'll be damned if my guys practice 1,000 bomb ass kicks that are technically sound and proficient and effective, and then fight and throw some dumb ass fucking kick we've never gone over, they've never done. That's when I get pissed. So I tell my guys, don't care about a win, don't care about a loss. Leave it all out there and don't fucking suck. And when I say don't suck, look how you do in the gym.
No, your guys, I mean, your guys have been really, really top shelf. I mean, your guys have been really incredible. I mean, I think about Nate and all the different titles he's winning. I mean, if he wins a FightersRep title, then the kid is a Muay Thai champ, an MMA champ, and a kickboxing champ. Among other things, you know, I'm sure he could win a jiu-jitsu belt if that thing was created. I'm sure.
Didn't I tell you? I think I told you. I think in messages I told you I'm gonna fast track him and put him on hard fights, because once he gets 2 or 3, maybe even 1 or 2, people are going to avoid his ass because they're not going to want that smoke. Once again, that's where I expect. Was it McCary or the other gentleman? Because he's willing to fight him. People don't want to fight him. And even he was like, "Are you sure, coach? You want me to do a first Muay Thai fight as a title?" Yeah. Because I'm working with you. I'm a competent, capable Muay Thai guy. What happened? His first fight, fought a gangster and got that belt. Second one, defending a belt, actually met the belt, different weight class, same thing. Fought a gangster. Way more experience than him. Won that fight decisively. Kickboxing. Who'd he fight? A gangster. A lot of experience.
Guy,
a hometown cat that's been built up. Put it on him. Very decisively. And that's another thing about Nate. When you see him on the pro circuit, it's going to be the same. He's going to take a hard fight. He's going to take another hard fight. And he might be shelved for some time because people aren't going to want the fucking smoke. And that's the big thing that I'm having with a lot of my guys. It's been hard to find CJ fights because people don't want to fight him. Because everybody 3 weight classes above, he's already fought for his whole career, 47.
And I will say CJ looked really good in his last fight with us as well, man. He looked really good.
He looked sharp. I'm telling you, he's even sharper now. It's not even close from when you saw him last. Mm-hmm. Jason, Evan Ortiz. Evan just got 2 belts. He's fighting for the belt for you guys too, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Right? I look forward to having Evan on. That's another person fighting for a belt. And this is another guy. He's fighting one of the best in the nation. Right? We're coming up for kickboxing, and then he's fighting the same guy again in Muay Thai to unify, and then we're going pro. We're going pro for Evan.
Jason's like 5 fights away in MMA to going pro. Nate's going pro after 2 to 3 fights this year. CJ's going pro as the next fight. So it's funny because everybody that's been watching or having some little things to say or not liking the way I go about things, that's fine. I know I'm not your cup of tea, but I will say if you look at the results, they don't lie. The proof is in the pudding. And these guys have had illustrious careers, amazing records. They've fought in dogs. People don't want to fight them. They've always been willing and capable of fighting, defending, so on and so forth. And watch, the same thing is going to be happening in their pro careers. These guys, I'm not throwing them in the sandbox going, hey, man, you got wet a little bit. Let's see if you can do it as a pro. These guys are knocking people out. They're running through high-level competition. They're competent, capable, and savvy, right? They're well-versed in their sports, and they're going to bring that into the professional circuit, and they're going to get the respect they deserve.
And I really hope as that generation goes pro, FightersRep will be exclusively doing pro-ams because that's kind of the goal for me too, Cody. I want to just do pro-ams, no more just maybe once in a while we'll do an all-ammy because it's still kickboxing is still, a sport that needs to be developed, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but my goal is, I want to do all pro-ams. I want to, because you look at what we did, and we did this together, man, and I credit you a lot, right? Because you're not one of these guys that just I don't know. I feel like a lot of these coaches, and I love all the coaches I work with, but I feel like some of the coaches, they kind of jump guys from promotion to promotion. And, it's not always a bad thing, but sometimes it can be a little problematic when, you've got this guy with momentum, right? And you've got him working with a promoter, and the promoter sees where he's going, and I kind of want to credit you with, allowing me to be consistent with Jason Granado, right?
Yeah.
Because with Jason, he never had an easy fight. He's never had an easy fight with us. But I felt like I always, because I knew him so well, because I got to work with him so much, I was able to get him the right fights, the right times. Even if I wasn't sure it was the right fight, so you had to get on the phone. I did, Cody, what do you think about this?
And I'm going, we're ready. We're ready. I know.
Yeah,
Was he 5-0 fighting a motherfucker with more than 20 fights? Ranked number 3 in the nation. Like, I'm telling you, even he would hit me up. We're fighters. We all have like little doubts. Hey, coach, you sure? Yes, I am. Okay.
Yeah.
And then sure as shit, what's he do? He fucking performs.
That was one of his best performances too. I mean, that was ridiculous against a gangster.
Against the gangster, not some weak sauce opponent. Against the damn gangster.
No. And so, I think you see my methodology, right? That's why I appreciate your intelligence, right? Because I think you see my methodology, right? It's just like you have your methodology at the gym, hey guys, come out, work hard. I have to explain to you the details of every technique and why it works and why it worked for me and why it may work for you and body types and so on and so forth. For me, it's, I want guys to come back consistently and I want to build momentum on the last fight. And I want them to come, and I do want them to go take a little break, get back to the lab, get better, and come back again. And I feel like that, that 2 or 3 month hiatus between the fights, maybe 3 months between, is a good space for them to do that. So I just want to tell you, man, I really appreciate you allowing me to do that with Jason, because look, in my opinion, I could be wrong, because maybe I'm biased, but I feel like he's become probably the biggest name in our striking community, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is
for the regional circuit, like out here in Southern California, I would definitely say so. And that's not me tooting my horn. That's all credit to him. Like truly. I can't work hard for anybody.
Cody, there are people messaging our social media account asking me, how do I get a Gator Granado shirt? I tell him, bro, you gotta hit him up here. Here's his our Facebook, usually we get messages on Instagram and stuff, but somebody hit up our Facebook business page. I was like, bro, you got to hit up his dad and buy a shirt. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to credit you because you allowed me to operate and work with your guys in order to get him to that level. And I would love to do the same, right, as they continue and as they go pro with Nate, with CJ, with Isaac McCary in here, Michael Claycomb, who also works with you. I mean, I want to do that with all the guys that fight for us. For me, the name of the game is find them the right fight at the right time, and win or lose, they're going to get better. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Understood. No, I totally agree. And exactly what you're saying too. Like I think people fail to realize too, especially when it comes to combat sports. Dude, if you're doing shit in Southern California with FightersRep, with Dennis Warner, with all these MMA promotions out here, right, in SoCal, if you're great out here, you're going to be relatively great to some degree worldwide.
Yeah.
If you're really, really good out here, you're going to be pretty solid damn near anywhere and everywhere. Like, this is one of the epicenters alongside Nevada. And what, Eastern Asia and the UK?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, aside from that, you get a bomb-ass gym here or there. Dude, you get a bomb gym every city out here. Yeah. Every city. You get 3, 4, 5 with a champion of some degree or some sport. You get coaches that are well-versed and experienced out here everywhere you look.
Cody, it's crazy. Like Rampage Jackson was sitting there watching Jason Granado. So he's like, tell me, which fight should I stick around for? And I said, you're going to want to stick around for because he came to watch Nancy and Connie fight.
Okay.
He's a friend of Nancy's,
Okay.
So he's like, which one should I stick around for? I said, stick around for the next one. It's the main event. Jason Granado's fight. He's really good. And as the fight was happening, and this goes to your point, he told me, are these guys amateurs or professionals? I said, no. I said, this kid's an amateur. He's like, man, this is Rampage Jackson asking me whether Jason Granado, versus Grant was a pro fight or not. I said, no, they're amateurs. He's like, wow, man, you're doing a great job. These guys are great. I said, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's something I've told them on previous shows when it was a hybrid pro and amateur show. I said, all right, man, it's time to go out there and look better than all these fucking pros on the card again. And I take pride in that. That's something I take pride in. I like my guys looking like they bust their ass in the gym. They're technical and they treat it like a professional, regardless if they have that title or not. Because that shit irks me when I see somebody that has like 7, 8, 9 pro fights, 7, 8, 9, 10 amateur fights too, been training 10 plus years. They get in a fight and they look like dog shit.
Yeah. And to your point too, man, like, the gyms I get to work with, and I tell people all the time, I don't want to sound stuck up, because it's not because of me. It's not because it's me. I feel like I do a solid job and I bust my ass to try to make the show as presentable and clean as possible. Right. But dude, look where I'm at. I'm in, like you said, the epicenter. We're in the mecca of this thing, man. And the gyms that just sign up to fight for FightersRep. Sometimes I'm just like, bro, who like Tariq Safiuddin, Strikeforce middleweight champion, is just, he's just there in the corner, cornering some kid that's trying to come up. We got we got Hung, we got Timo Yama, we got George. I mean, it's just it's classic fight team. It's crazy, I agree with you, man. I feel like I could I guess that's why I'm so like defensive about our guys. Is I feel like I could put our guys against anyone, man. I really do.
You could put a majority of the top level pros on your cards with the top level amateurs, and you're going to get very competitive technical fights. And that's not going to happen in Illinois, Michigan, so on and so forth. And I'm not trying to call a certain state out. I'm just saying, like, in certain spots where it's not as saturated and as dense with the talent we have here. And that's another thing I have to remind my guys sometimes. Look, we all get nervous before fights, whatnot, and we understand the risk. But I let them know, hey, dude, you're 3-0 as an amateur. You're 8-0 in PKBs, whatnot. Look where you're at. You're not in BF Egypt, you know what I mean, or some random state with 4 competitors in 40-mile radius. Nah, dude, you're doing the damn thing where everybody's trying to do the damn thing, and it's the hottest thing to do, and you're successful. And that's damn near the whole damn gym, dude. I've got Ryu. He's what? 13-0 with PKBs and amateurs.
Listen, you just brought him up. Where is he? Where did you take him? You took him from me. I was like, when I saw that kid, I was like, oh, where is this kid, bro?
You know what he told me day before yesterday on Monday? Guess what he said? Coach, I want a kickboxing title.
dude, that kid's hands are ridiculous,
Oh,
bro.
you better start watching the knees and the kicks now. I'm telling you, he ain't one dimensional. The
You
only
know,
thing is, all he needed was the hands in that fight.
well, I went on a bit of a rant on Instagram recently where I feel like if there's anything I could really drive home to the guys is get your hands right. We
Mhm.
watch because I watched that Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua fight, and it really shows there's levels, and I'm not expecting Ngannou to beat Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? But the point I wanted to drive home was, man, boxing is still so important,
Yeah,
especially in our sport of kickboxing. And when I saw Ryu's hands, dude, I was immediately. I mean, I'm not saying his kicking was bad, but I was just
taking it
so
back.
impressed with his hands. I was like, my God, I love watching this kid fight.
So I'll say that too. You can ask my guys. I let them all know. We're in the West. This is not Thailand. So even when you come to my Muay Thai class, I have a lot of traditional ideologies for certain things, time and place, once again, for everything. But when
Yeah.
it comes to the hands, we are in the West. It's called Western boxing for a fucking reason. My guys are not going out there not knowing how to throw these things. This isn't Thailand. There's not 50,000 baht being side betted and you're supposed to fight for 5 rounds and the first 3 don't count. No, when you hear ding, 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 get prepared to knock his head off and get prepared for him to knock yours off. So you need to be competent in clinch. You need to be competent and know how to kick. You need to be competent and know how to knee. But you need to be most competent and willing and capable of throwing your hands. I tell this to everybody. Are you a pro boxer, George?
I am not.
But if we were to get in a fight, what would your first inclination be to defend yourself?
It's boxing, man. I'm 100% with
Ball,
you.
ball up a fist and throw a hand. So get
Yeah.
real good at it. Get real good at it. So I mean, it's simple shit to me. the maths.
I'm trying. Maybe I'll take a class when I get back out there. We got Isaac McCary in here. He's backing us up, basically saying West Coast rules the world. And of course,
Damn right.
I am trying to build these boys down in South Florida who also look pretty good. We got American top team all striking.
There's some gangsters in Florida, but I would say that the denseness of their talent is within 2, maybe 3 gyms.
Yeah.
We got cities and counties out here.
I agree. I would agree. I would agree. And then we got Jason Granado says, huge shout out to the Squirrel Coach Cody, one of the huge pioneers in my career. Would definitely not be who I am without you, bro. Much appreciated there.
Love this team.
I agree. I would agree with you, Cody. I do think South Florida, we do have some talent, and I'm excited to continue to explore. I will say ATT, all striking, or any American top team. There's a few of them. There's
Was it AKA or Florida Academy or Florida Kickboxing FKA?
Yeah. Ace of 10 pounds.
Ace of 10 pound. I've had my eyes on him for years as a fighter, but I'll tell you what, I just want to say he's a damn good coach. Yeah. I really like to take after him when it comes to that approach because I feel like he's maybe a fighter that coaches. I think I'm the opposite. I'm a coach that fights. But the proof is in the pudding when you have an analytical approach, you're open-minded to logic, and there's a method to your madness. It's not random. And I think he's a very good example of good coaching and something that is worth their salt in the fight game and is tried and true and experienced.
I couldn't agree more. I was really impressed with his coaching at the last FightersRep in Florida. We've also got Bushido Muay Thai, got some great guys there. Coach Manny Ramirez, Coach Agustin Andiarena, the El Perro Loco. And there's some other good gyms down here. There's Vice City Striking. Ryan Rutherford, he was a pro. I was actually trying to bring him out. He fought in one of those shows in Mexico during COVID. I think Connor Bracken was on the show. I forget the name of the show.
Triumphant? Was it Triumphant Muay Thai?
That's the one. I think he fought there. So, there's definitely some talent, but I agree with you, man. The sheer density, man, of the talent in California on the West Coast, man, just because, it's a population of 40 million, but like you said, I feel like there's a gym on every corner, man.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. But we got a tough tribe to crack. We got a bunch of loyal, motivated, hard-working guys that are open-minded, coachable, and dude, they're everyday men. They're not ordinary by any means, but they're everyday hardworking men. They bust their ass for 8, 10, 12-hour shifts at work. I have guys come in an hour and a half to come train with me. That's one way, right? And guess what? They come up, they're coachable, and they bust their ass every day, and it shows when they fight. I just give strong suggestions. They bust their ass and they fight people and win.
Well, we've got 3 people, I'm hoping 3, from your gym fighting
Mm-hmm.
for coming on June 8th. And who knows, maybe we'll even get one down in Florida for June 1st. Who knows? But on June 8th, we've got 3 of you guys coming out. And I wanted to ask if you could tell me a little bit about him. Brandon Stallone, he's new, but I'm sure you're very high on him from what I've heard. And of
Oh
course,
my!
and of course, Nathan Hawthorne and Evan Ortiz, man, who hasn't fought for us before. I'm very excited to get Evan on, man. Kind of tell me about these guys.
Okay, so first let me go in chronological order, right? So Brandon Stallone. Once again, it's a debut. Okay, so anything can happen. Of course, it's a fight game, and it's also first time under big lights. So with that being said, if he taps into the potential that I've seen him showcase in PKBs in the gym and with his teammates, okay, he is a humble killer. And I mean that. He's somebody that truly respects weight classes in the gym. He's not a headhunter, somebody you have to watch out for trying to like knock you out or whatnot. Okay. But he has all the potential to do so. He's one of those guys, if you want to poke the bear, you might have to poke him a little hard in practice to really get that side of him. But if you do, you better watch out because he has a bear trap for that ass and he'll put you in it. He gets busy with his hands, but he also he's been much more open-minded and receptive to broadening his horizons and his variety of strikes, and he's been really displaying that in practice and with his dedication outside of the gym and being healthy and maintaining a lower weight and being nice and toned, taking up these PKBs and fighting, being willing and able to fight more than once in a day, fighting guys that have more experience, coming from the gyms that we're fighting at the PKBs with. He's asking for him. He wants him. He does not care. And he performs. That's what I love about this team and something I really see in Stallone. Not only does he have the potential, but he's a performer, just like Jason Granado. You can see us going light and working technical stuff, but the thing is, though, when it's go time and you walk in that ring, sometimes people are completely different. My guys show up and we show out, and Stallone's right there with it. Second, we got Nathan Hawthorne. Okay, dude, Nathan Hawthorne is a fucking champion, and I mean that through and through. The heart, the corazon, the coachability. This young man is constantly asking for a little tweak or an adjustment because he's open-minded to the approach. He tries it right then and there, and he implements it for the rest of the camp or the rest of his career. He's not a question whore. He doesn't ask me something just to hear what I think and then not apply it. He trusts my judgment. I'll speak it. He'll do it right then and there. He'll do it for the rest of practice, and then he'll do it to me when we spar. Like
Yeah.
you can't ask for better. Second to that, all what I have to do as a coach for Nathan is tell him to chill the fuck out and rest. Like he's a workhorse. He's a damn workhorse. He's not somebody that is able to just live and not pay rent and not work a job and devote all his time to this, which is a blessing. But he doesn't have that luxury. He busts his ass at work. He works random hours. He still shows up to practice. If he can't show up in the morning, then he'll show up at night, and he's there. He holds himself accountable, and I don't need to. All I have to hold him for is, hey, listen in the moment, which is never an issue. And then second to that, dude, rest more. So prepare for a rested, well prepped, technically sound killer. When he's coming in that ring.
Let me tell you, I'm really impressed by that kid. Not just his abilities, but I've interacted with him a couple times,
Mhm.
and that kid's just a real gentleman. That kid's a
Yeah.
real man's man.
Yep.
And I'm a huge fan. I'm a
Damn
huge
right.
because like this is a lot of stress, to put
Yeah.
these shows together, and just to have to deal with extra bullshit is kind of something that I try to avoid. So when I get to work with people that are like professional like that, it means a ton to me. It really is. I appreciate it.
He's not delusional. I'll say that. And that's with everybody on the team. Nobody thinks that their shit doesn't stink, and nobody thinks that they're going to be gifted a win or that they're just going to walk through an opponent. Same thing I tell everybody. I don't care if we know the guy, we know the team, doesn't matter. Prepare for the hardest fight of your life, and all of the guys do it. The whole team does. They prepare like it's war, damn it, because it is. Evan Ortiz. Good Lord. Evan Ortiz has been with me since the beginning. Okay. Same thing with Nate. Same thing with CJ. Same thing with Jason. So on and so forth. With that being said, I've seen this man develop into a champion. He's always been gifted at coaching. Okay, he's been around the game and been in the game for a long time. He's very competent. He's savvy. He understands things. Second, he's very awkward. And when I say awkward, I mean it as a compliment. Styles make fights. You can't fucking prep for him. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can prep for the idea of him, but if you haven't fought him, you haven't sparred him, you haven't trained with him or against him, you can't fucking train for him. That's why I love having him.
Wow.
You can't train for him. I tell him, don't be me. Don't be CJ. Don't be him. Be you. Be the best you. You're a Rubik's Cube to some degree where there's so many things to twist and turn. The best pros in the gym that I've ever had in the gym have problems solving them. I'm telling you. And with going with CJ and Jerry Granado and Jason Granado, his kickboxing specifically has looked immaculate. His Muay Thai still shows and blends in there with the mixture of knees and hastiness to knee the shit out of you and pull your head into that knee and push kick the hell out of you. But his ability to string combinations together, stay coachable, and keep himself accountable while he's the man of his house, while he's busting his ass every day, doing laborious work. And you feel it. You feel it when you spar him. He's got farmer strength. He's one of those guys like, oh yeah, he's kind of big, he's kind of long, got some abs and whatnot, but you don't get it until you're there with him. He's one of those guys when I first met him, yeah, I could put my hands on him, put my legs on him, do my thing. I don't want to fight him. I don't like fucking sparring him. It's a pain in the ass. It hurts. It's painful. It's painful.
Yeah.
And that's him being nice. That's him being nice. He's a competent man that busts his ass, is coachable, and he's just gotten a couple belts and defended one too. I'm telling you, he's picking up steam right now. He's picking up steam. And the big thing is he's always up for the task. It hasn't mattered who he's fought, when he's fought them. The only people he's ever lost to, and he's never been knocked out, have been in title fights with people that have had at least double the amount of fights on paper than he has for those title fights at minimum. And guess who he's beat? Everybody either with a similar record, a winning record, or previous champions. That's it. And just his growth in these last two fights, I'm telling you, I can't wait to see him perform. I can't wait to see him be in a different element against a very, very dangerous opponent that is very deserving of the shot. I'm very excited for him to do what he loves and to get this much closer to pro, because that's a big thing he wants to do, and we will fulfill that dream very soon. But before that, we got some asses to whoop.
I love it, man. And my goodness, what a promotion that is for your fighters. I gotta say, man, I appreciate the passion that you have for your guys, man, because I'm very passionate about all the guys that fight for us, man. But to hear this from a coach it's just amazing to me. This is what I think the fight sports are all about. And Elijah James is in here. He says this team is something special. So,
it is. Every single fucking person on it. I'm serious. Yeah. That's why you check us out on Instagram. You see these packed ass mats. You see videographers, photographers. You see massage therapists there. It's because we care. Everybody, it's a tribe. When you go to work, you have your little tribe of people you hang out with, right? When you go to a jiu-jitsu gym, you might have a little clique, a certain tribe that you resonate more towards these certain people. This whole damn team is a tribe. There's not an odd man out. Everybody is a family in it, and it shows.
And Cody, the physical condition that you guys are in, I mean, in every picture I see, it's like, holy are these the fucking X-Men? Who am I dealing with here?
Yep.
I mean, everybody in the gym is just shredded and jacked. And Jason Granado, I mean, I think about him, how he goes in there and he goes full speed. I mean, from the opening bell, obviously we haven't seen him to the closing bell in the Lions Den, right? But he just goes and goes and goes, and it's just a credit to the conditioning there.
That's a credit to his heart and his family as well. He has a great support system, not just with this tribe at the gym, but outside of the gym. He conducts himself as a professional. I tried my best to get him a coaching job, and he's been doing a hell of a job there. He's running a great program And he's another person, once again, that leads from the front. He's not blowing smoke up those little kids' butts. He's teaching them good fundamental techniques. He's starting other grown adults on good career paths. And his word has validity behind it because he's literally showing that what he says, he does.
Yeah.
It's just everybody on the damn team does the same thing. I can't. I've texted you plenty of times behind closed doors, like, hey, I got another guy that you're gonna love. I got another favorite. I got another one. It ain't just Jason. It ain't just CJ. There's a lot of them, and every single time, I don't think I think I've proved that right. I don't think I've proved it wrong yet.
No, you've been absolutely a man of your word, and I really appreciate. Again, I tell you, man, I really appreciate working with you. I feel like you're one of the best. I mean, I don't want to go out there and say the best. I haven't sat there and really analyzed it, but you might be. You might be, but you're definitely one of the best.
But I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know what the fuck I'm doing.
But your team is definitely one of the best teams I've ever worked with. I mean, here's why. You know, it's just consistent across the board. You know, it's not just one fighter. It's not just two fighters. I mean, you also have one of the bigger teams, right? I mean, you've got so many fighters training under you, and you know, I don't see too many people doing it at that level. I got to give you that, Cody. I got to just be honest with you, man. I think it's important to give people credit when they deserve it and to be authentic about it. And, you know, I will also, you know, me once in a while, I get in trouble because I tell people, you know, what I think even when they fuck up. I tell them, hey, you probably shouldn't have done that. But, you know, it's just unbelievable the amount of talent and what you've done with them and how many fighters you have under your belt and all the different sports they're competing in. And you're everywhere. And you know, big congratulations to you on that, man. Listen, I've kept you for almost an hour, right? And I feel like we can keep going, but I know you got a lot of stuff going on, man.
I got to get to the gym right now, but it's been a blessing. It's been an honor to work with you, to be on this chat, to be on the live stream. We will continue to do great business, and yeah, just to comment on that, you are who you kick it with, and my team is a team of good, highly reputable individuals, whether they compete or don't. Even the people that you don't see on FightersRep that hold each other accountable, are coachable, come in there with an open mind, and do what's right on a day in and day out basis. And that's exactly why you see the results that they've been able to achieve, that we've been able to achieve. It's not a one-man effort. I happen to lead the ship as of right now with my title. That doesn't make me entitled. I still bust my ass and make sure that I'm not sitting on my ass. And all my guys help keep me accountable. All my guys keep me honest when we spar. I try to do the same. I do the same. And you're going to keep seeing these results because we just keep growing, man. Like even last night, I think we had like 6 new people in the gym just this week.
Jesus Christ.
So,
well, Cody, listen, man, I look forward to it. Before I let you go, shout outs, anyone you want to thank, any parting shots you want to make, the floor is yours, brother.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I haven't really been able to see the chats. I don't know how to work this shit on my phone, except for the ones that he's called out. So whoever's watching, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and stay tuned. Stay tuned. This next FightersRep card is going to be something special. Win, lose, the draw, we come and we show out.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody the Squirrel Sessions. Follow him on social media, on Instagram, everywhere else. And we appreciate you, Cody. Have a great one, man. Thank you.
Later, guys. Thank you, sir.
All right.